Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. They say what happens in Vegas stays there, but in my case, the chaos followed me home like a shadow. Ashley and I had shared 9 years of marriage, years I thought were built on trust and stability. When she mentioned her plan for a girls' trip to Vegas, I didn't think twice. Ashley had always been fiercely independent, and I admired that about her. She'd been under a lot of stress lately, and I supported the idea, even encouraging her to go. I told myself she deserved a break and silently kicked myself for not planning something similar for the two of us. I hugged her goodbye, told her to enjoy herself, and watched her leave with a smile. The first couple of days passed without incident. She sent me cheerful texts, pictures of cocktails, group shots with her friends, and glimpses of Vegas's neon skyline. Everything seemed normal, and I felt reassured. On the third night, though, the messages stopped. At first, I brushed it off. She was probably caught up in the excitement. But as the hours dragged on, my unease grew. When my calls went unanswered, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe her phone had died, or she'd misplaced it. By midnight, I was pacing the living room, a knot tightening in my chest. Something didn't feel right. The next morning, I woke to a lone message. "Sorry, Ethan. I fell asleep early. Love you. Can't wait to see you when I get back." There was something off about it. It felt rushed, almost mechanical, as if she were hiding something. When Ashley returned, she seemed radiant, happier than I'd seen her in weeks. I chalked it up to post-vacation glow and tried to ignore the nagging doubts. Over dinner, I asked casually about her trip. "It was amazing," she said breezily. "We saw shows, tried our luck at the casinos. You'd have loved it." Her answers were vague, but I didn't press. I didn't want to come across as suspicious or controlling. A few days later, cracks began to show. She'd left her laptop open on the kitchen counter, and an email notification from a Vegas hotel caught my eye. "Thank you for your stay. Exclusive photos available." Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked. It was standard promotional material, until I saw her. Ashley, in the arms of another man. She was laughing, her face turned toward his in a way that left no room for doubt. The timestamp confirmed it was the night she had supposedly gone to bed early. I didn't confront her right away. I needed more than just a single image to understand the full extent of her betrayal. That evening, while she was in the shower, I picked up her phone. My hands shook as I scrolled through her messages. It didn't take long to find what I was dreading. A thread with someone named James was filled with flirtatious banter, emojis, and inside jokes. One message stood out. "That night with you was unforgettable. When can we do it again?" Ashley's response was just as damning. "Let's not talk about this here. I'll call you later." Further digging unearthed photos, intimate photos. Ashley, in lingerie I'd never seen before, posed in front of a hotel mirror while a man lounged casually on the bed behind her. Videos followed, each more devastating than the last. In one, she giggled as she filmed a table covered in champagne glasses and rose petals before turning the camera to capture a passionate kiss with James. In others, the images left no room for misinterpretation. Raw, explicit evidence of a betrayal that had been neither accidental nor brief. These weren't fleeting indiscretions. They were deliberate, planned, and recorded for posterity. My chest felt like it was caving in. My breath hitched, and my hands trembled as I stared at the screen. This wasn't just infidelity. It was a complete mockery of the life we'd built together. I wanted to burst into the bathroom, confront her, and demand an explanation. But I knew how it would go. She'd cry, apologize, and find a way to make me feel guilty for invading her privacy. That wasn't enough. Not for this. My heartbreak twisted into something darker, a determination to make her understand the magnitude of her betrayal. Quietly, I forwarded the damning photos and videos to my phone, ensuring I had a full record. Once the evidence was saved, I deleted the messages from her device and set it back on the nightstand, my heart pounding. The sound of the shower continued, oblivious to the storm that was about to break. I had plenty of time to prepare myself. After rinsing my face and practicing a neutral expression in the mirror, I took a deep breath, steadying my nerves. When Ashley emerged from the bathroom, her hair damp, wrapped in a towel, and humming softly, I greeted her with a practiced smile that felt almost real. "Hey," I said casually, as though everything was as it always had been. "I've been thinking about something." "My birthday is coming up soon," I began, letting the idea take shape aloud. "It's been years since we threw a proper party. What do you think about inviting everyone over? Our families, a few close friends? A backyard barbecue could be nice, something low-key and fun." Her eyes lit up, and she clapped her hands, the towel slipping slightly as excitement took over. "Oh, that's such a great idea. We haven't had a big gathering in so long. You deserve a proper celebration for your birthday." "Exactly," I said, the weight of my plan pressing harder on my chest. "Good food, drinks, laughter, something memorable." She leaned in to kiss my cheek, her enthusiasm radiating. "I'll help with everything. This is going to be amazing." Amazing indeed. The days leading up to the party were agonizing. Every glance at Ashley brought the memories of what I'd uncovered flooding back in sharp, vivid detail. But on the surface, I played the role she expected, helpful, caring, the picture of devotion. When she asked for my input on the menu, I gave her a warm smile and thoughtful responses. I laughed at her jokes. I even kissed her on the forehead, though the gesture churned my stomach. She was completely unaware of what was coming. On the day of the party, the weather was perfect, bright skies and a gentle breeze. Ashley flitted around the kitchen, energized and cheerful, while I busied myself with setting up the backyard. I arranged chairs, cleaned the barbecue, and made sure the outdoor TV was working without a hitch. Our families arrived first, bringing warmth and chatter. My parents greeted Ashley as if nothing had changed, and her family followed shortly, her younger brother tagging along. Friends trickled in after that, filling the yard with laughter and the savory aroma of grilling meat. Ashley moved effortlessly among the guests, her laughter bright and genuine. Her happiness only fueled my simmering rage. She had no inkling of the storm brewing beneath her radiant exterior. As the sun dipped lower and the party reached its peak, I decided the moment had come. Raising my glass and tapping it lightly with a spoon, I called for attention. "Everyone, if I could have a moment of your time." The lively chatter faded as all eyes turned toward me. Ashley looked up with a warm, expectant smile, clearly thinking I was about to make a heartfelt toast. "I want to thank you all for coming tonight," I began, my smile steady. "It means the world to me to be surrounded by family and friends, but there's something personal I need to share, something that has profoundly changed my life." Ashley tilted her head slightly, a hint of curiosity and unease in her expression. I moved toward the outdoor TV, the remote in my hand. "This year has been a time of reflection on trust, loyalty, and love. And I thought, what better occasion than my birthday to share a moment of truth?" The crowd murmured, confusion rippling through the group. Ashley's smile faltered, her brow creasing. "What are you doing?" she asked, her nervous laughter sounding hollow. Ignoring her, I pressed play. The first video flickered onto the screen, showing champagne glasses and rose petals. Ashley's unmistakable laughter filled the speakers as James appeared on screen, too close for ambiguity. The cheerful atmosphere vanished in an instant, replaced by a stunned, suffocating silence. Ashley's face went white. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice sharp with panic. I stayed silent and let the second video roll, exposing her betrayal in undeniable clarity. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Her mother froze, one hand trembling as it covered her mouth, the other dropping her wine glass, which shattered on the patio. My father swore under his breath, while her younger brother stared in shock, confusion and anger etched into his features. Ashley lunged toward me, her voice breaking into a desperate scream. "Turn it off! Please stop this!" I stepped back, holding the remote out of her reach. "Why should I? You wanted these moments immortalized. Now everyone can see them as vividly as you did." Her sobs grew uncontrollable as she sank to her knees, covering her face with shaking hands. Around us, Guests whispered in disbelief, their shocked faces filling the space left by her broken composure. "You betrayed me, Ashley," I said, my tone calm despite the fire raging inside me. "And I thought everyone here deserved to see the truth, just like I did." Her father stepped forward, his expression dark with fury. "Ashley, is this real? Tell me this isn't real." Her choked sobs were her only response. "For 9 years, I trusted her," I said, addressing the crowd. "And this is how she repaid me." I gestured to the screen where the final damning video remained frozen in place. One by one, the guests began to leave, their expressions ranging from pity to disgust. Some murmured apologies to me, while others glared at Ashley as they passed. Her brother shook his head in dismay, walking away without another word. Her father's voice cut through the chaos, low and venomous. "I didn't raise you to throw everything away for something so cheap." His hands trembled as he turned to leave, his disappointment unmistakable. Ashley remained crumpled on the ground, her sobs the only sound in the now desolate yard. The lively gathering was gone, leaving only whispers of shock and the echo of her broken cries. He turned away, his chest rising and falling unevenly, then swung his fierce gaze back toward her. "Shame on you," he hissed through clenched teeth. Her mother, usually poised and tranquil, stood frozen in place, her face a heartbreaking mix of sorrow and disbelief. "How could you do this?" she asked, her voice trembling with emotion. "Do you even understand the gravity of what you've done?" Ashley's entire body shook as she buried her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she stammered, her voice weak and fractured under the weight of her remorse. Her father stepped closer, his tone as cold as ice, cutting through the silence like a blade. "Don't even start," he said sharply. "You don't get to play the victim now." The anger in his glare was searing, his words heavy with disdain. "After everything we've done for you, how could you betray him like this?" His voice rose, each word steeped in bitter contempt. "You've destroyed everything, Ashley. I've had enough." Turning toward her mother, who still seemed frozen in shock, he shook his head in frustration. "I don't know what to say anymore." "This isn't the daughter I raised," her mother murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's not the person I thought she was." A weary sigh escaped her lips, laden with resignation. "I can't find the words," she admitted. "I never imagined it would come to this. Never." Ashley's tears poured freely, but her anguish couldn't thaw the icy tension that filled the room. Her father's expression hardened as he cast one last glance her way. "We're leaving," he said with finality. "Maybe when you've had time to reflect, you'll grasp the extent of what you've done." His words hung in the air like a crushing weight as they turned and walked away, leaving Ashley behind, shattered and alone. She sank onto the couch, her sobs racking her body. "I'm sorry," she gasped through her tears. "I never wanted this. I made a terrible mistake. Please, don't do this." But my resolve never wavered. My expression remained steely and firm. "Pack your things, Ashley," I said. "You're no longer welcome here." Her desperation only deepened. "Please," she begged, her voice breaking apart. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." I shook my head, my tone flat and unyielding. "It doesn't matter. You've destroyed everything we built. This marriage is over." Her tears fell like rivers, but I remained unmoved. The betrayal was too great, the damage irreparable. The divorce was finalized swiftly, the paperwork a cold, unrelenting confirmation of what I already knew to be true. Ashley begged me to reconsider, to give her a second chance. But my decision was firm. The trust was shattered, and the life we'd created together was irretrievably gone. For a while I stayed in the house, but the memories there suffocated me. Every room, every corner, was filled with echoes of anniversaries, celebrations, and the fleeting joy that had once defined our home. It became unbearable. In time, I sold the house and used the proceeds to begin anew. I moved into a modest apartment, a quiet retreat that I could truly call my own. The process of rebuilding was slow and arduous, but with each passing day, I reclaimed small victories over the pain. I kept the space simple, choosing a decor that reflected my newfound focus on creating a life that was mine alone. Months later, I took a cautious step back into the world of dating. I met someone, a woman who brought laughter back into my life, who shared my interests, and who carried no shadows from the past. She wasn't Ashley, and that was exactly what I needed. Slowly, the ache in my heart began to fade, replaced by hope for the possibilities ahead. As for Ashley, her life spiraled in the aftermath of her choices. She left the state, trying to escape the shame and the consequences of her actions. Occasionally, I'd hear snippets about her, a rumor here, a story there, of her struggles to rebuild, to trust again, to find love. But the scars she had left, both on herself and on others, kept her isolated. Her parents refused to speak to her for months, and her friends gradually distanced themselves, leaving her to face the wreckage of her decisions alone. Over time, my own wounds began to heal. The pain became a part of me, but it also shaped me, teaching me resilience and self-reliance. I emerged stronger, more confident, and for the first time in years, genuinely hopeful for the future. Though I couldn't predict what lay ahead, I knew one thing with certainty. I was ready to embrace the future, free from the shadows of a past that no longer defined me. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.